Alright, hey, what's up you guys? It is me from Team Apps doing another podcast because I haven't done these in forever. And today, I've got all the best people. I've got Robert, he's Magician Hero, remember to check him out. I've got Trill, he's just a 4, remember to check him out. I've got Jared, he's Jacko Spado 4, remember to check him out. And I've got trashy old Hunter who doesn't have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I like the attention.
We're going to talk about a lot of different things. I didn't really make any of this planned, so we'll just start on topics and it'll be a great time. So first, I think we should probably go ahead and talk about the Battle Pack because it's coming out really soon. This has a lot of reprints, and there are a lot of high pre-order prices. There's just, a lot going on with this pack. So, Robert, what do you think of the Battle Pack? Just the reprints, the prices of things. Get us started.
Honestly, I was looking up a bunch of pre-order prices earlier today before I went to work. I think, honestly, game state-wise, it's really not going to change the price of the game. It's still going to be expensive for some of these cards. Like, for example, Tour Guide. Starfall of the Tour Guide is the same price as the Secret for pre-order.
Yeah, that's what I've seen, and I was talking to Hunter about it earlier, and I was just like, wow, it's supposed to be a reprint, and here it is at about the same price it was. Jared, what do you think of, a reprint being pretty much the same price?
Really, recently, whenever a card gets reprinted, it doesn't change the price of it, because the most recent one, Effect Veiler, everybody thought the Ultimate was going to drop down in price dramatically, but it's still at the same price, and it's been reprinted twice now. As far as pricing-wise, I don't think it's going to have a big impact on it, but it looks like what they're trying to do is just trying to make some of these hard-to-find cards that's only in one set available to more people, so that way they can try to get more people playing.
Yeah, I agree. We haven't, when I think about it, we haven't had a reprint set in a pretty long time, so it's good that they're doing this. Terrell, what about you? What do you think?
Well, actually, I think that as far as the prices are concerned, the reason why they won't change as much is because the Battle Pack is pretty much full of really sought-after cards. So it's still that pretty much that high level of demand for each one of these cards, because I also did my pre-order checking. And even the common, just the retro guys are like $30-$40 a pop. And we know there are many rares that reach their high as far as price value. The Battle Pack is going to change the game state tremendously, because now players who don't have a lot of money can still buy these packs at like $2 a pop and pull some of the high price cards in the game and actually put them on a more competitive level with other big players in the game.
Hunter, would you agree? Do you think that it's good that we've got this, that we can just buy this pack and pull good cards, or?
I look at the pack, and that the fact that it's 220 cards makes me think of the old Dark Revelations, stuff like that, the old reprint sets that were just about as that big, and they didn't really do anything to prices, and they don't now, because mainly it's just setting out a new card, and it creates a price for that.
Yeah,
now,
and I think...
One thing that I have noticed is that pre-order prices tell you nothing about what the card's actually going to be worth, because I was talking to some people that went to Philly, and I saw some videos. People are actually only pricing stuff like Starfall Tour Guides over there were like 40, rares were 30, and it's completely different on the pre-order sites.
I know also with packs like this, because there's so many cards, it can be really difficult to pull a specific thing, and so that's sometimes the cause of these prices. I'm not really sure. It's a 220 pack set. Do you guys think that this will be a pack that people will buy a lot of boxes of, or just something you can just sort of pick up at a store when you're feeling lucky, just pick up one pack? What do you guys think? Whoever wants to go.
I'll go. Honestly, for how much the box actually is and how much the price of packs are, I think more people are going to buy boxes, because it increases their chances of pulling the stuff that they need and also the stuff they want.
Yeah, that's true. Jared, what about you?
Well, in all practicality, because there's so many cards in this set, to really to get anything that you want, you're going to have to buy singles or buy a box. This, because the example, this last good reprint they had was Dark Revelations 4. And I was trying to get a super, Macros Cosmos. Buying packs individually, I didn't pull any. but when you buy a box, you know, instead of you're having 11 cards out of a 270 card set, you're pretty much not going to get what you need. So in order for you to actually get the cards that you want, you're going to have to buy a box, and then with everything else, you can sell it back to get more copies of whatever you need. So I
Yeah,
think the majority of people are going to come buy boxes because they can get what they want. And then number two, you have trade bait, and then you have parts that you can sell to get other stuff that you need.
so yeah, like I know everyone's excited for Tour Guide from this set. Do you guys have like anything in particular that maybe you're excited about besides just Tour Guide? I mean, there's a lot of really other good reprints in this set. So, like Trail, anything maybe like beyond Tour Guide that you're really excited to get?
Me personally, Forbidden Chalice because I'm not paying $20 for the Ultra just because I don't care. It'd also be good to get another Tyrus and Andreas just because those cards are really, really good. And there's a lot of cards that are banned that are back, like Jeki, Hobby Feather, and this is pretty much like their first reprint. So, well, I think Hobby Feather's first reprint. So I pretty much just want to get those for collector's item. I'm pretty excited about those, even if we can't use them. I still think they'd be good to have as far as collectible.
Hunter, what about you?
Honestly, most of the cards that are getting a reprint in there were cheap cards, like except for well, back in the day, Fiendish Chain was really high, but most people could have gotten those early. But Tour Guide was the other thing. Those are the really only two that matter to me because I think everything else was just cheap enough to where it was okay to get. But I do like the fact that it brings into something called sealed play for Yu-Gi-Oh that we'd never actually had before. I don't think it'll be that big, but it'll be something cool to have.
Yeah, Jared, are you looking forward to anything from this set? Beyond, Tour Guide, I guess? I don't know, maybe if you didn't hear me. But Robert, what about you then?
Let's see. There's actually a good list of stuff that I actually want from this. Besides Tour Guide, of course. I mean, there's Lances, Chalices, Doom Cows, Andreas, Tyrus, just a bunch of Fiendish Chains.
Yeah.
I was online and Alter Reality Games to put up some pictures of some of their pre-order boxes they had, and I just love the way the Starfoils look.
Yeah, I know that's a really cool like rarity to be just releasing in a pack like this, and then every pack's guaranteed to have one. So I think that's kind of cool. So I guess moving on from the battle pack, let's touch a bit on priority. I know we're a bit late talking about it, but priority is gone. It has changed things, maybe more or less than we were expecting. But first, I guess just what do you guys think of the change? Jared, what do you think of like no priority anymore?
It's really it does make a difference. The thing I like about most of it, it gives it becomes more of a skill based playing instead of just okay, I'm gonna do something and you have no chance to stop what I'm doing. It gives to build more, a little more creativity, and you have to be more skilled to win without priority now.
Yeah, I always felt like priority was not so much a game mechanic as much as it was sort of an exploit. Like it kind of felt like you were kind of just like using a bit of a loophole to kind of get around things. And so I'm really glad it's gone. Like Hunter, what do you think of just like does the game feel different to you maybe?
Well, I really like the fact that priority's gone in the sense that it does bring skill to the game, but I think and it especially makes things like Effect Veiler really better. But it also, I think it makes it easier to stop like certain decks that really relied on priority. But I think it did change the game a little bit, but it was not as big as most people would have thought.
Has anyone seen like has anybody noticed maybe decks being built a little bit differently with the loss of priority? I mean, like I don't play, so I don't know these things, but like has anyone seen maybe more Compulse, more Bottomless, Trail maybe?
Yeah, of course. As you've seen, like maybe the last Rocket Chicago winner, Aaron Noel, he started maining Raigeki Break. Cards like that, any card like that can be pretty much activated at any time, just became way better. Because it messes up anybody's place. If you can't priority, you don't get priority because unless it's a trigger effect, and there's nothing they can do about it. So pretty much Dino Rabbit, Executives really didn't, and Chaos Dragons didn't either just because they're huge and they do what they're supposed to do regardless. But I think the biggest deck, because it was, just being honest, the top three, of course, is Chaos Dragon, Dino Rabbit, and Executive, and those decks needed to make changes. Otherwise, there was no way they would continue to be a top contender in the game.
And Robert, what about you? What do you think of no more priority? I mean, liking it? What do you think?
I love it, honestly. It gives decks that didn't really strive on priority a chance to shine, and then also it like we've been saying, it shows real skill. For example, people who play Dino Rabbit don't play Dino Rabbit because they can call priority. They play it because they have skill now.
Yeah, that's what I've heard from a lot of people. So, priorities kind of, it's been around, so I guess it's sort of old news. But something that happened just last weekend was YCS Philly. Now, this is going to sound bad, but I don't even know what won or what was in the top anything. So you guys have to fill me in along the way. But what won that event? Anyone?
Chaos Dragons.
Oh, okay. So, what do you guys think of Chaos Dragons winning? I don't know what kind of build it was or anything, so I mean, it's just going to be a go on your own. Whoever wants to start.
I can start. And this is my personal opinion because I've been keeping up with the coverage throughout the whole weekend. I love Chaos Dragons. It's one of my secondary decks that I play around with. Everybody knows that I'm a Rabbit player, and I wasn't exactly rooting for Rabbit to win, but I did not like I didn't like the top 16 matchups because in the whole top 16 matchup, all the Dino Rabbits played a mirror match, so they pretty much knocked each other out. I personally was not too partial to that. I mean, okay, and I said this is my personal opinion, so if someone disagrees, that's fine. But I did watch the coverage, and all Dino Rabbits played each other. Now, in the top four, there were two Dino Rabbits and there were two Chaos Dragons, and they both played each other. There was a Chaos Dragon versus Dino Rabbit for both rounds. And when watching the coverage, nobody drew a Rescue Rabbit at all, but they got their ass hit regardless because Chaos Dragon is pretty much a deck made to beat Dino Rabbit, and it did just that. The person that won, he did play very smart. I watched his moves. I had to think about some of the decisions he made, and I realized that they were the smarter choice in the long run. So the person that did win, he was a skilled player, and he did deserve to win. Like I said, top 16 was something that I didn't like. But other than that, when it came down to the actual finals, I was glad for the person that did win because he was the person that had his moves well thought out. And also with that being said, I can just say really quickly, the way the game has just now become now, it's become a rock, paper, scissors format. You know, rock beats scissors, scissors beats paper, paper beats rock. So pretty much Chaos Dragon beat Rabbit, Rabbit beat Injectors, but Injectors can beat Chaos Dragon. So pretty much it's no longer a number one top deck now, especially without priority being there. It's pretty much now a what your deck can do against a deck, whether it's your weakest matchup or your best matchup. And so that's pretty much why I think that Chaos Dragon did win this weekend.
Yeah, I really agree. Like it's insightful because I've noticed that change, how this game's kind of gone from being a Dino Rabbit was the best and beat windups and injectors really easily, whereas now it's kind of like a, this beats this, which beats this, which beats that. But Hunter, what do you think? Like,
I actually want to disagree with Trellin here because I finally see that because there were so many Chaos Dragons in the top, that kind of told me that Chaos Dragons are not having as much trouble beating Injectors as most people think, because there was only one or two Injectors there was only one Injector in the top 16, and there might have been a few others in the top 32 I saw. But Chaos Dragons are pretty much made to beat Dino Rabbit, and that's exactly what they did. I expected them to win this event because of the amount of things that they can do against the deck. And they've just gotten to where they've kind of it can't be adapted, but it has kind of changed since YCS Dallas, where it was first really introduced. But it's not become a rogue deck anymore, and I really do think it's in the top tier, and it has the potential to win nationals.
Jared, what do you think about like Chaos Dragons winning? Do you think maybe that makes a bit of a statement for the game now? I mean, or is it just kind of they just won? I mean, what do you think? Well, since Jared's not here, Robert, what about you?
I'm sorry, what?
Just Chaos Dragons winning. I mean, like, what do you think of, like, I guess, do you think it makes sort of a statement for the rest of the format, or what do you?
Honestly, and I know this is probably going to come to shock to all of y'all, I hopped on that bandwagon.
I'm not shocked at all.
Yeah, I mean, there's never really anything wrong with that. Like, so you must think it's a pretty good deck then, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it was when all right. The way I built it, I saw a lot of flaws in the deck, but overall, it's a great deck. I mean, it produces a lot of big beat sticks, which this format lacks,
Um,
and it also gives that chaos play that most decks need.
so like, what exactly was the build that won? Like, was it the Lightsworn Chaos Dragons or just something
Um,
else?
Give me
yeah, pretty
one
much.
second,
I
and
mean,
I'll
that's pretty
post a
much
link.
like that's
Well,
only pretty much
the way that Chaos Dragons are pretty much being played now is they're not playing the abundant number of Lightsworns that Alex Reed did. It's only pretty much playing 3 Lila, 3 Raikou, and
Ayo, one
and
Aaron.
I don't really see how it plays 3 Recharge with it, but it apparently works. Um, it's just it's pretty much the most consistent build because it runs that. It runs quite a bit other lights, and it runs good few darks. But it's the way the deck synergizes with each other with itself now that it's not so bad. Not running the full Lightsworn build.
So, now I guess it was an interesting YCS. I guess supposed to wrap that up. Now we're gonna just touch on Galactic Overlord since it's the newest set. I haven't heard just a lot of great things about this set. A lot of people didn't really like it. But there were some interesting cards that were released regardless. One of the big ones I guess is Card D, which is I've heard a lot of things about it. I've heard that it's complete trash. I've heard that it's a replacement for the tour guide engine. I mean, I've heard just a lot of things. So, Jared, Card D, let's hear some thoughts.
It's not here.
He's
Remember?
not here. Oh, he just left. He's disappeared. All right. Trell, you can start then.
Card D. I personally like the card. The only problem is I don't think that it is worth the price of it, only because we have a little gem called Tour Guide. And it's pretty much the only reason why it's so great in the OCG is because they don't have Tour Guide. And I only see it working as far as in this format and in this in the CCG. I only see it working in a few decks, like the guy that top 16 with Final Countdown. He ran that, and of course in Heretics or Heretics or whatever you want to call it. But I don't see a lot of other decks playing like you never see. I don't really see Dino Rabbit playing it because we don't really need draw power in Dino Rabbit because you draw your vanilla. And pretty much any other deck, like I said, as far as like deck stabilizing, there is like I said, there's Tour Guide, so we'll never need Card D. It's like a $90 card now, but I really see over time that its price will drop because it was nowhere really needed in the top. Actually, it wasn't in the top 4 at all. It was nowhere really needed in the top at all. So it's a really good card, but it's one of those situational cards that you really aren't too sure about using. And also with the fact that there's no priority, the card can kind of become a pain state because it can be self summoned and it's very tiny and very susceptible to big monsters like Chaos Dragon.
All right, and Hunter.
Galactic. Are we talking about Card D specifically, or just Galactic Overlord?
A bit of both, whichever.
Card D is cool, but I found it funny how it helped Final Countdown get to the top 16. I think it got like first after Swiss too, which made it even funnier. But the card is not that good, especially with the way we play our decks over here. I think it will actually do some help in Laval's once all their stuff comes out into their weird Quasar loop, but I don't think it's going to be played out of the few decks. I don't think it's going to be played anywhere else, especially because of priority.
Yeah.
On Galactic Overlord as a set, I think it's a pretty bad set in general because there's only a few good cards that come out of it. It's Card D, Atom, and then the Gaia Dragon, and there are some Heretic stuff, but I don't see Heretics being top tier right now. I think they might come around later in the year after the ban list or something, but I don't think they're going to be a contender for something like Nationals.
Robert, what about you? What do you think of just Galactic Overlord, I guess, as a set?
Mediocre. I think they could have done better.
That's what I've heard. I mean, I just feel like the set didn't have enough game-changing stuff. That's a really blunt way to put it, but what makes sets good is either the introduction of a new archetype that's top tier, or the introduction of something so established that it pretty much becomes a mainstay. and I'm sure you guys all know what set I'm talking about. So yeah, I mean, like, unless it has Duality Warning and Valor and Scrapdragon, then I mean, it needs to have like a big push for the game. Something like Card D, I just don't feel is enough of a push. Heretics are new though, and Hunter said he doesn't really think they're good. I've played a few of them just online.
I
Go
think
ahead.
they're good. I just don't think they're good in this format. Is what I'm saying.
That's a way of looking at it. It feels like one of those decks without a lot of steam. Trell, maybe you can, what do you think of them?
I mean, I also think they're good as well. Like you said, this format just does not work for them specifically. And so, I mean, I would play them, but I don't see them being a top contender in a huge regional just because they require they're not like okay like even though people say windups were cheap, windups also had another way of winning besides going for the loot. Whereas Heretics, they need to go off. They need to pretty much go off. They can't really they can't really just hold field all the time. So pretty much without them being able to go off, the deck can easily be stopped and can pretty much easily be countered. So I do find them to be a fun deck. But right now, given what's out and given how they're played, there isn't a lot of support for them as far as making them more safer. And to other than that, I just see them as a quick fun deck. It's pretty much like playing Quasar Fable. They have no protection. They're just all speed, but they can easily be stopped.
Yeah, Robert, what about you? Like, have you played Heretics or, just have any preconceived thoughts?
You forget, Ron's my friend.
Well, yeah, so...
Ron's playing them.
So what do you think of Heretics then?
I get lost when I play them because there's so many effects going off, and it gives me a headache because I'm trying to tell my opponent to slow down when it comes to them so I can figure out what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I know. Like, I hate just the whole effects are like going crazy. You don't really know exactly what to veil or things like that. It's an interesting deck. Now, here is another, I guess, let's move on into the summer of Yu-Gi-Oh! We have Nats coming up. That is a huge deal. This format's like, it started off so strangely, and then it got different, and now it got different again. I mean, like, it seems like anything could win at Nats type of deal. But we're here to talk about what we think will win. So, Robert, why don't you start us off? Like, what do you think even has just a chance at winning at Nats?
Inzectors.
And I guess why? I don't know.
I mean, you look over at Japan, that's all you see. And then you look over here at us, and like say locals, for example, everybody's hopping on the bandwagon of Inzectors.
Yeah, I mean, like, do you think that's maybe the only deck that's really got a good chance of winning? Because I mean, as we said, there's Dino Rabbit, Chaos Dragons. I mean, and then other things. Trell, what about you?
Personally, as far as winning nationals, I personally see Chaos Dragons winning it. And I'm not bandwagoning. I mean, I play the deck myself. I'm not bandwagoning. It's just that given the no priority ruling and the fact that we have to, if we do, well, not if we do, but when we do go over to Worlds, we have to have a deck prepared that is pretty much that can play with their rules. That's why we've always lost in the past because we have the TCG exclusive and we have strategies that work over here but that wouldn't work over there. So we have to be prepared for the fact that they're going to be playing a little bit different than we are, and so we need to play on their level if we actually want to go and at least try to eke out a wins. And I think out of all the decks that are actually top in this format, Chaos Dragons would be the best deck for that. Just because they don't need priority to win. They have big boss monsters. In this game, currently, effects are everything. Effects are so much of this game's playing stake right now that if you can come off with big beaters, you actually have the upper hand because without effects, all you have is a power monster. And sometimes your power monster, all they are good for is big beaters. So I think Chaos Dragons have a good chance to actually come out and win because they are the deck that we should be taking to Worlds.
Hunter, would you
I'm going
agree?
to jump in on this question as well.
Okay.
I did hear the question.
Where was he?
I'm going to have to go ahead and agree with Trell on this one. And the reason for it is with Chaos Dragons, not only do you have the numerous monsters, that are so big that it's hard to get around, you also have, graveyard loops where you can keep on breaking them back easily. And, I'm not going to say there's nothing wrong with Inzectors. It's a great deck. But with Inzectors, you really don't have the speed on that you do with, Chaos Drag. You can just summon on the 1600 monster, and first, second turn, you already have red eyes in your hand. No matter what your opponent does, you already set up by turn 1 or 2 just to go off and have a game push. And with that deck, versus Insectors, Windups, and even Harags, now they can push almost every turn, and you're not losing any type of advantage for doing it.
Yeah, I agree. Like, Chaos Dragons, they can pretty much overpower a lot of the competition. But let's hear what Hunter has to say.
I look at it, and I look at our nationals trends, and they're really weird. Like, all of our event trends, they don't go as well as we think. Like, look at nationals last year. Everybody favored plants. Well, hell, TG Stun won it. I feel like it's going to be very weird, but I feel like we're finally actually going to get something that's mainstream that's going to win. There's going to be a lot of Insectors in the top because, honestly, I look at it, and Insectors can make bad players good. But the thing about Insectors is good players know how to counter them very easily and very well. If you don't let them start, they can't finish. If you don't let them start looping, they pretty much won't get anywhere. But if they start looping, then you're going to have to lose. There's going to be a lot of Rabbit, and I think Chaos Dragons are finally going to win it. I feel like there are going to be quite a few weird decks that are going to make it up there. Like, so I think Dark Worlds are also a good choice at this point if they know how they're going to play.
Like, it
but
gets... Is this...
I can tell you for Worlds that Insectors are going to win Worlds.
So it feels kind of like the format's more or less finalized itself. I mean, we won't be getting our next set until right before a ban list, and our next big event is Nats. So would you guys count decks like Windups or Heroes just completely sort of out of the equation for the rest of this format? I mean, like, what do you guys think of that? Jared, maybe you can start us off? Or not? Alright. I swear,
in my opinion,
never stays.
In my opinion, I feel like Heroes are going to be one of the weird decks that tops because of their way to play, but I don't think it's going to be the traditional hero build. It's going to be some form of hero beat, though. And what else did you say?
I was just talking about Windups. I mean, you guys think Windups are pretty much dead for this format?
I think that they're a little bit. Like, one Windup did top 32 at not Nationals, but Philly. So I don't think they're completely dead. I just think they're they're too combo based and easily stopped.
Yeah.
I lost the
as far as
Windups to
one-
Lafayette.
Go ahead, Tro.
Well, no, as far as Windups is concerned, I don't think they're a dead deck, but of course, we all know they're not going to win. But Windups have become like the new Glad Beast. We all know Glad Beast has pretty much they're the safe deck of the game in general. They're not winning anything. They're not winning anything. But they're that deck that's going to be there. It's going to knock you out of a spot. That's pretty much what Windups is going to do. It's not going to win, but it's going to be that painstaking little ass rape that pretty much they hand loop you and you lose them, and it knocks you out of a higher spot because you played against them. But we all know that they're not going to top. I think that they're dead as far as being a top contender, but as far as being a good surprise factor, and as far as being a good decent deck for a person that actually knows how to play them, I don't think that they're dead yet. I still think they have a little more shine left to them. Because let's be honest, not many people are maining Max E's anymore. I mean, Max E's price is dropping. I mean, like flies. Let's be honest. So I mean, nobody's really maining Max E anymore. And so a good sneaky Windup player could come in and actually knock out their first few rounds before somebody realizes that Windup is actually a contender in the YCS or anything, and before they have to start beating it. And so I don't think they ever win anything. I mean, first off, they've never won before, and now this just makes it even more obvious that they'll never win any of the events. It's just the fact that they're that deck that will knock you out of a spot just because they have that hand loop that can screw you over. Dino Rabbit can beat a lot of decks in the game, but if you hand loop a Dino Rabbit first turn, they have a serious problem. And even if we can beat Windups in a match, it's still the fact that you just got hand loop game one, so you might lose this match, but you can win the rest of them. So I think Windups is going to be a silent killer, but it won't win any events.
Robert, what about you? Do you think Heroes and Windups are just kind of not really relevant anymore? Do you think they can still show up and do some damage? I mean,
Heroes, I wouldn't count them out yet. I mean, right now I'm not playing them because I needed a break. Because I've been playing Heroes for like 2 years now. But the only thing about Heroes that I see as a problem is the whole mistiming thing.
yeah, that can be a bit of an issue. And what about Windups? Like, do you think Windups are still kind of viable or just sort of out of the competitive scene? I mean,
I think honestly, Windups is one of those decks that it has to depend on the player. Like I said, at Lafayette, I lost to a Windup deck, and then he ended up topping at Lafayette.
It feels like I'm gonna agree with Trell on this, and that I feel like windups are one of those decks that everybody wants to say they're dead, but you're gonna lose a round in a regional, or you're gonna lose a round in a bigger event to them, and you're gonna just kind of have to eat those words because you're gonna lose. Like, it's that deck might not even make it into the top, or it might be that single windup deck that makes it into the top spot, but it's gonna knock some people out because you're gonna be laughing saying windups are so easily stopped, and then the very time you face them, you're not gonna have that Valor in your hand. You're not gonna have that Max C, or you might not be running that Max C because you thought windups were dead. Poof, they come up. They kind of knock you out of a spot. I mean, like, it's a sad truth. Like, I think it's true. And would you guys say, I guess Hunter mentioned Dark World. Let's just touch on them real quick. What do you guys think of them? Like, I think it's an interesting deck. I don't know how its Chaos Dragon matchup is, but I know it can disrupt Dino Rabbit really well. Like, Trell, Robert, either of you.
I'm going
Oh,
for
Jared.
the past week. Been running the Darkwood deck, and it's actually a pretty consistent deck. The only problem that you have with it is if you don't get the field magic card, or if you don't get something that you can discard first turn, you're really gonna have problems with it. But other than that, it's a very consistent deck. And like I said, I played it the past 2 weeks just to learn more about it, how to beat it outside, and I actually won the past 2 tournaments with it.
How do you, Jared? What are its matchups like against?
Heroes is actually the hardest matchup just because with Heroes you have to go through so much backfield and they always have a lot of hand support versus if you're playing with Insectors, you don't have to worry about summoning one monster and stopping Hornet's effect, and which is really easy to do if you're running small. With Rabbit, you have to worry about the Doka, but their monsters are small compared to Grapha, so you don't really have a problem with that aspect either. The only hard matchup is a mirror match or against Heroes is because they have so many resources that they can play with.
So, would you guys pretty much agree that he's right?
Yeah, I could say he's right.
All right, because our next topic is something I think a lot of people have forgotten about, and that is Gold Series 4. It's like, I'll go ahead and admit, I totally kind of forgot about it. I didn't know it existed. Things have gotten so, like, competitive, and just things have been changing, and we lost priority, and we got the battle pack. It seems like, Gold Series 4 just isn't really going to be cutting
Paul,
it.
Gold Series 5.
Shut up. The point is, it's coming out. Do we really know anything that's in it beyond what they told us at first?
Well, no, but that's a good bit of stuff already.
Yeah, so like with Battle Pack reprinting so many of these good cards, what do you guys think could even show up in the Gold Series 5?
Lavos. No, not Lavos. I'm tripping. What is it? Honestly, I see like a whole bunch of like, I don't know why, I just see like spellcasters coming out in Gold Series 5 just because I feel like for some reason the game has not really been focused on anything besides like dark and light things and warriors and all that crap. I feel like, and of course dragons now, so I feel like spellcasters are probably going to get their chance to shine with Gold Series. And as far as hollows, I'm not even going to guess on there. I really don't care. But I just see this set like reprinting a whole bunch of like old school like just spellcasters that were actually decent in the game.
Does anyone think we might see another Blackluster Soldier type of thing where they maybe reprint a ban card that just surprisingly pops up on the list again?
Emon.
I might shoot Konami in the face if they do that, because it caused a lot of speculation last time, and everybody was wondering. And we know Konami loves to troll. The hollows really don't matter because they're synchros.
Oh yeah, you're right. I think it's just kind of a Synchro's last stand type of deal where they're just gonna push out everything and then.
Yeah,
synchros are not dead. Synchros are not dead. I don't care what anybody says.
I mean, I don't so much mean that they're dead. I just mean that.
Awful.
Well, yeah, he runs.
Decks aren't running them.
Yeah, I mean,
like the only one.
It's not so much that they aren't good as much as it is that they just
are overshadowed.
Like, yeah, I mean, they just sort of been overshadowed, and Konami's refusing to really support them, and Konami continues to like hit them. It kind of feels like they're fading.
They are. That's true. They're an endangered species at this point.
Like at this point, if you go into synchros, you have to be either like doing what Trell is, like Junk Doppel going into like Quasar, or you just use them as utility, like Hunter said. I mean, like, yeah. So, so you guys pretty much sort of writing off Gold Series 5 as not necessarily that important. Too many other things going on, really?
Yeah, I am.
That's kind of how it is right now. Once we see more stuff released, then we'll have more of an idea of if it's actually going to matter. But honestly, I don't think at this point it will. Besides the new Ghost MSTs, I like stuff like that.
And the last thing we'll talk about is prices for the rest of this format. Do you guys think that these prices have pretty much sort of stabilized themselves, or do you think like we kind of got to wait for the battle pack to sort of phase its way in?
Well, Battle Pack's not technically out yet. They just previewed it at YCS Philly, but there are already prices for it. It's things are gonna finally settle in Battle Pack. I look at it like the Legendary series. What?
Yeah. Dark Legends.
No,
or
I'm talking
something.
about the.
The Legendary Collections?
Let.
I don't know. I mean, don't ask me. Well, Robert, do you think prices have pretty much sort of gotten to where they're going to stay for the rest of the format? Do you think we're going to see any more drastic changes?
I can see, honestly, once the battle pack actually comes out this weekend, I can actually probably see some prices dropping, because players personally, not companies, but players themselves, are probably going to lower the price because they don't see it as that much. At least that's what I'm hoping.
And Jared, what about you, if you're actually here?
Nope.
He's not here.
Nope.
Terrell, what about you? Do you think these prices have sort of kind of hit their mark for the rest of the game, or,
No, one, because it's Yu-Gi-Oh! And these prices never really just hit their mark. Let's be honest, things change, like people change their draws. And it was always constantly changing. That's the only thing that we know is constant, is that it's going to change. Plus, with Nationals right around the corner, I don't think anything's really going to be set until we find out what's going to top. Because let's be honest, whatever tops, that's pretty much decides the price of another card. We're getting Chalice top, and it went from being like a $10 card to almost $30 in a matter of hours. So pretty much, I think that and even though everything's being reprinted, even by being at a lower rarity, it can still be a pretty high price. Because like you said, Valor is really huge this game right now. So even the supers are pretty decent price. I bought my supers at like $3 a piece, and I looked at them online; they were like $8 or $9 as just supers. So I mean, the game pretty much will determine the prices. And I think once after Nationals is over and we decide what's top and what's won, then the prices will pretty much be at a more stable, at a more stable value for the next few months.
So, I guess that kind of winds our podcast down. Does anyone else have anything that maybe we should just touch on before we...
We should touch on how Robert got double crazed all the regionals.
Oh, yes, let's hear.
Man, I don't even want to talk about it. It was that bad.
And it was by yours truly.
It was.
But,
And then of course we got to be proud of Robertson. He towed the piss.
Shut your
on him.
mouth, Robert.
No, I this on the flip side, I am proud of Robert for getting his top. So everyone listening to the podcast, you guys should be seeing mud chips and dead rares at Nash.
Also, I'm gonna give props
glad-
to Aaron for top 8ing the regionals with freaking Frog Monarch.
yeah, Aaron topped you guys. If you don't watch him already, that's Yu-Gi-Oh! Rock 77. He topped. So I guess that this sort of winds our podcast down.
Wait.
Go on ahead.
A shift in side deck. Like, there's actually a card that popped out in the side deck scene that I wanted to talk about.
Soul Taker.
Soul
That
Taker.
$15 card, Soul Taker.
Why is that good? Any clue at all?
Yes, because it makes shiny miss tiny.
And so it's the same for like Pulsar.
Oh,
And
okay.
Shining.
Yeah. Okay. So it's 15 right now. The common.
No, not the common.
10
The
to
secret.
15.
Oh, okay. I was about to say.
Because it's been printed twice, and they're difficult to find.
That is true. I remember I used to love that
Secret's
card.
beautiful.
So, I guess that is winding our podcast down. Again, I was with Robert. Remember to check him out. That's Magician Hero. I'm going to have a big annotation where you can just click his face and it'll be great. And then there's Trell, who is Dristo4, and you can just click his face and check out his channel. and maybe he'll have up that junk doppel deck that he double Quasar Robert with,
Piss
and
off.
it'll be a good time. And he has a cool video that you guys should watch.
Oh God.
I won't spoil it, but just watch it. And then there's Jared, who continues to leave the call, and you should watch his videos because he's doing a new series with the Dark World deck. I think you'll like it a lot because you kind of help him build the deck. And then there's nothing to say about Hunter, so yeah.
That poor
like it,
rabbit
man.
trail. That poor rabbit.
So, thanks for watching. Leave us suggestions for future podcasts, and I guess I'll just see you guys later. Remember to subscribe to all of us, and yeah.